everybody. Welcome back to another chapter. I am Jessica. I am your light guide today, and for many days if you join us again. I hope you subscribe and join us again. I have videos pretty much every day. Try to do it every day just to be consistent. I wanted to keep on this theme about words having power and to be careful with them, and I wanted to address the two most powerful words that you will ever use, and you probably use them and don't realize how powerful that they are. It is the words I am. Now these two words really talk about your whole manifestation. When you put these two words together, anything that follows afterwards, that is what you are manifesting in your life, unknowingly or knowingly. And a lot of people do it unknowingly. I want to bring it kind of back in the history lesson, though. Wanted to touch base on book Conversations with God that I had mentioned in a previous video. And we'll be talking more about this book, probably doing like a book talk on it, since I am a librarian as well as an artist and many other things. I wanted to address kind of what was said in there that really resonated with me, and that was that the words I am really are truly God's true name. A lot of people think when in the Bible they talk about don't use the Lord's name in vain. They think about you saying Lord or God, like when somebody goes, oh my God, they're like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't use the Lord's name in vain. This was one of the major points that really kind of struck with me. If God, the source, the universe, the all-knowing, the all-in-one, all that is and all that is not, if they were concerned about someone using their name in vain, don't you think that they were powerful enough, smart enough, omnipotent, omniscient, all of those things, to make it so it was impossible for you to do it? Because when they say you shall not, the source is meaning you shall not, period. It's not possible to do. And that is because the true name of God is I am. And when you look at scripture, Bible scripture that is, Christian Bible scripture, you see where the story of Moses, when they talk about his conversation with God, and he asks, who are you? And the Lord, the source that was in the burning bush that did not get consumed, repeated, I am that I am, or am who I am, depending on the translation. And it was his name, I am. And that was the important part. I am who I am. I am that I am. And when we think about that, I am, that is God's name. He stated it right there, plain as day. It's not the names that we give him, it's the name he gave himself. And if we also look at when, like in Jesus' teachings, where he says that, God lives in us. When you think about that, then our, secret name, like our part of us, is also I am. So anything that we say after that, when we call into existence, our so chosen reality, then when we say I am, it blank, fill in the blank, that is what you become. So that is also why a lot of, psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, they tell you not to speak negatively about yourself, because you are taking that name and you can't blaspheme it. The highest of high, a lot of people won't like this. They don't see good and evil. They see the aspects of it. We determine it. But if you, and we'll go down this rabbit hole a little later, but if you think about that, that love is all-encompassing. It's an all-encompassing emotion. So you have different emotions that are separate and smaller entities by themselves, but when you look at love, love is an all-encompassing emotion of all of those emotions. You know, love can go wrong. It can be sick. You can love somebody and it not be good, and not be good for you. It's not a good kind of love. But it's love anyway. There is love that can be jealous, you know, love can do all of these things. So love is like this all-encompassing umbrella. But that's why we always try to choose to love, because love always strives to be better as well. And so when you think about the fact that because, you know, the highest of high is everything and everything that's not. So it's, you know, everything that we choose to be and strive to be. It's also, I mean, the Lord cannot be Lord of all if it's not Lord, if it picks and chooses what it's going to be Lord of. So if it's like, I'm only going to be Lord of good things, then it's not Lord of all. It's just good things. And it's a smaller God. But the all-encompassing universe, you know, the all-knowing source, is going to contain it all, period. There is no, you know, picking and choosing in that. So, with that in mind, when you say, I am stupid, let's say that, then your subconscious, which is closest to source, is not going to deem like, oh, well, you know, that's blaspheming, because, you know, we're not going to say bad things about, you know, bad things about God or bad things about ourselves. No. It is all-encompassing. So it says, oh, okay, well, then that is what I am then. And you'll start taking on those characteristics. I would say this a lot, I am bad at names. How many of us have said that? Oh, I'm really bad at names. And then we continue down that. Our mind cuts us off. It doesn't even open itself up to that possibility, because we've already said, nope, I am bad with names. And I started doing this as an experiment when I became my first year as a librarian. I had to learn so many names, not just as in the students, but also the new authors that I was learning in the collection. And I started saying, I am fantastic with names. I am great with names. I remember names. I was putting myself more in that thing. And you know, I became really good with names, especially authors' names. I still, you know, would get confused with some students, because some students would remind me of other students with different names, and I would call them different ones. And I don't think that was necessarily me being bad with names. It was just, you know, they had similar traits, they had similar personalities, they would have similar mannerisms, and I would correlate them in my head. So they were kind of like spirits, same spirits in different bodies. So, at any rate, that's another thing to talk about too. So be careful about I am. I am are the two most powerful words, and you can. That is one way easily to begin a manifestation. You need action as well, and action you can think about I am also meaning how you manifest and create, because the Lord of all is a creator, and so I would be intention, right? What your thoughts are, and that's where it begins. Thoughts, your intention. The Lord had to decide at first, oh, you know what? I'm going to create the universe. I'm going to do some amazing stuff out here, some crazy, crazy stuff. That was his thoughts first. That was his intention. Intention. A in the word am. Intention, and then action. And the action was his words, right? And then what happened right after it? Manifestation. And it is the simplest breakdown of how to, you know, how it goes in it. There are a lot of different aspects of it, thinking about, you know, your subconscious, if you have those limiting beliefs, when you get down to us as humans, in our human form, in our human dream state. But if you think of it in the most simplistic terms, and the most purest terms, which would be source, the divine, it would simply be I am, intention, action, manifestation. Bam, bam, bam. So when you kind of put it down like that, you can see how you can be more careful of your thoughts, of your actions, of your words, because they turn into manifestations afterwards. I let y'all all know once before about how I manifested the new home, and I also unintentionally manifested a career change. I was extremely unhappy, extremely stressed in my last year's position, to the point where it was becoming unhealthy, mentally, even physically, and that was in addition to the other stresses of having a special needs daughter that, needed special health care. So unintentionally, it's like I can't, like, this is so much. Every day it's something. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And when you think about words have power, when you're saying that you want something, remember that wanting typically means lack of. That is the original terms. And your subconscious isn't meaning like, oh, you'd really like to have that, versus, oh, you don't have that. Like, whenever you're saying, oh, I want something, subconscious is, I don't have it. And the universe is like a giant photocopier, is what I've read before in that Conversations with God. What you think and what you say, that it will kind of photocopy it, and it's not, it's not there to filter what type of want you're meaning by that. It's just, you're in want of it. Okay, that means you don't have it. So let me swap up your order and move it away, because you want that, so that means that you don't have it. Now, when you do not want something, right? Have you ever, and this has happened to me multiple occasions, where, let's say, you're wanting a significant other, and at first you're like, oh, that would be nice, and then you have a bad relationship, and you're like, oh my gosh, nope, I do not want that. I am done with that. I'm perfectly fine by myself. And what happens? A month, a week later, oh my gosh, you run into somebody and sparks are flying. Holy moly. And that's really kind of what happened with my husband and I. We ran into each other in a Walmart. We were classmates before, when we were in high school together. And it was funny how the sparks really flew. But before that, nope, I don't want that. I am fine by myself. And that typically happens. So when I myself was saying, I do not want this anymore, the universe gave it to me. Okay, you don't want it, that means that you already have it, and so here you go. You don't have to deal with it anymore. Bye-bye. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but that is actually how it works when you break it down. So when you are thinking about the power in words, you have to really, guard yourself over what you're saying sometimes, because we do say things and really aren't thinking of the consequences or, what it will bring into our lives. I am, right? And those were those powerful affirmations. And I will link some affirmation videos that I have found online. I'll have to create some myself that will help you start getting into that, mindset of abundance. But I am abundance. You could just simply say that I am abundance. I am smart. I am wanted. I am cared for. I am loved. I am enough. I am overflowing with energy. I am wealthy. And you can continue to say those, because remember that the way to reprogram your subconscious, there's only two ways once you get past that 7-year mark, unfortunately. 2/3. One is hypnosis, where you go back into that theta brainwave. The second one is repetition. And I say /3 because when you are falling into sleep, and coming out of deep sleep, you just enter into that theta brainwave in a very small, short amount of time. It's not very long. So it kind of does still have to be repetitive, because if you happen to do the meditations during, like, when you're going into a dream state, then you are reaching that theta wave very slowly right at the beginning. And speaking of those meditations, 30-day meditation challenge. You can break it down to 7-day meditation challenge at the beginning, because remember, if you start the 7-day meditation, it can end up 30. In the end, you get to 7, you say, hey, you know what, this isn't so bad. It's not really like taking out anything out of my day, and I feel really good. Maybe I'll do 10, and then maybe you'll do 15, and then, hey, you're halfway there, and might as well do 30. So test that out, because it is really important to be in the present. A lot of people tend to, this is when they misuse that I am unknowingly. When they start, talking about themselves, they are thinking about the past, which is already gone. It is a made-up thing. Or it could be the future. That was my son. We're thinking about the future, where you are, anxious about something to come. And especially when we're talking about the past, our past selves. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't have done that. What was I thinking? I'm so what? Dumb. Or, fill in the blank. So it's important to stay in the present moment, so that our anxiety and worry calm themselves, and then we can get back to center and love our I am state. Because we are they, right? Don't let them say anything bad about you, because I am they and you are they, and I am wealthy, healthy, and full of love. So I will see you guys later, and until then, peace, keep burning brightly, and much love, my visionaries. Bye-bye.